Hey, what's up, guys? This is AJ from Fire from Heaven, and welcome to another video. Today, I was going to start a series on going through all the stories behind my latest album, The Evil Wolf Chronicles, which I'm sure the majority of you know it's based on a book I'm still writing. So, yeah, my coffee just got done, so I'm going to go get that real quick. Need some coffee first. Oh, that's hot. Now I'm awake. Okay, so first song is called Forewarning. So that's basically just like the intro, a little bit of orchestral stuff and some sound effects, and then like some narration. So I think I'll just go like a couple of lines and then kind of explain what's going on. So long ago, in a land full of demons and monsters, there came from the ashes of a great war the first of us, the dichotomies. So, as I'm working on this series and like basically all the lore behind, like the characters and stuff like that, I've posted a little bit of the lore on my website at firefromheavenmetal.com. Just check out the blog section. But I need to do more of that. I have a lot of it written down. I just haven't like typed it out on my website. But so what we're talking about here in a land full of demons and monsters. So basically, like in the beginning of this world, when it was created, it was all perfect and very similar to a lot of different stories, fantasy stories. I mean, I'm not trying to copy anybody, but that's that's just like fantasy. Like that's just what I fantasize like a world being. I'm not trying to copy anybody or whatever, but so yeah, and then eventually, like, not eventually, like corruption was there in the beginning when the world was created, basically. And I'll go more in depth on like the origins and the lore a lot more in more videos, but just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna kind of not explain so much about that, but so eventually there's a great war, and just like any fantasy world, there's demons, there's all sorts of monsters. So that's talking about a land full of demons and monsters. And then eventually at some point there's this massive war with all these demons and monsters. They break out of their prison, which is called Agregar, which I mentioned in a song or two later on in the album, but I'll talk about it then. But essentially that's their prison. They break out of it, and all the nations of the world, they come together, and then there's this huge war. And then basically after the war, there was like pretty much nobody left. Most people were all dead, scattered. So the dichotomies is what I'm referring to. It's the name of a race, and the race is like they're human, but they're also, they have two animal spirits in them, and the animal spirits can be different. Some people have wolf spirits, others lion or dragon or whatever, you name it. And but so, and each spirit is like a different side of the person's personality. That's kind of like what it's representing, is like the good side of a person and the bad side of the person. So that's what the dichotomies are, and basically they're like super powered. Like if the good spirit is the one that is strongest, the one that like whoever the person is, that like they're they're more like, that personality is like more prevalent in them, like they do more good than they do bad or whatever. That's the more good you're gonna do, then the more the good is gonna grow. So then that spirit magnifies the good in you to make you become great. Kind of like how with Captain America, like the good in him, basically they just magnified all that and it made him huge and stuff. But if they did that with Red Skull, and he was already obviously bad inside, so it just magnified that. So kind of like that. I didn't take the idea from it, okay? I just thought of it, and then I thought that'd be a good way to kind of compare it. So, the main character in this story is named Alion, and he's just like this warrior, and eventually he becomes a king, and then that's when things go crazy. And the evil wolf spirit becomes really strong, and that's when the Evil Wolf Chronicles takes place. So there's I think I have a post somewhere about the dichotomies. I wrote out a blog. I don't know if it's on my website, but I'll try to put it up there, explaining it a lot better because I'm not as good as explaining things in videos. But yeah, I'll go on to read the next few lines. This is about the dichotomies. The fiercest creatures to roam the earth, blessed with great power to do great or terrible things, and that this power is not easy to bear. When a person befalls some sort of great torment or pain, two spirits awaken within them that are animal spirits, like I said. So that's basically explaining a little bit about the dichotomies, but I couldn't go crazy about it because it's a song. And then this is the character Alion talking. The spirits within me are wolf spirits. Their names are Adolf and Azroth. I am a part of them, and they are a part of me. And that's like what I was saying is the evil and good. They're both parts of his personality. And so then I kind of stopped right there, and then just as the writer, I put here, before I go on with my tale, I must give forewarning. And then I say, I'm a man of God. And this is just like, I've had a lot of Christian critics, criticizing me about my lyrics and stuff. And they're taking the perspective of this twisted, evil guy, okay? I'm not saying anything about how to live a Christian life in these songs, and it's pretty obvious. It's a tale, it's storytelling. If you can't understand that, then this music isn't for you, so go away. Anyways, I just put this in here because I wanted to clarify it to anybody who is a Christian that listens to my music, because I'm a Christian. I have a Christian background in writing and everything, so yeah, I just want to make that clear. So, I go on to say that does not mean I'm going to put a coat over a very dark and cold world and act like it is warm. People, especially a lot of Christians, they just want to ignore like the evil in the world. Like, I understand you don't want to like worry about it or whatever. But this isn't like giving credit to the evil or anything. This is like being real. That's what metal is about. It's about realism. If you listen to metal, you should understand that's what it's about, is being real. Any kind of metal music, metal bands, or whatever, it's still about being real. Even though this is like fantasy based, it's still about realism. This is like a representation of the world we live in. Just some things are dramatized and everything because it's fantasy. So, yeah. And then, next line, it is a very dark and cold world, and I must speak truthfully. Like, that's another thing about the realism. I'm not going to pretend like the world is all hugs and giggles. Okay? Not. Okay? The world I speak of is a place within my own twisted mind. It's true. My mind's twisted. I'm corrupted, just like any other person. Anyways, but nonetheless, my God has given me this tale to tell you. So I feel obligated to tell this story ever since I had the idea of it. So that's what like these last few lines have been about, is just like me clarifying what it's all about and why I'm telling it. And this is a very dark and haunting tale being told from inside the mind of a man with two conflicting sides of himself, constantly at war. So that's just another thing again about the good and the evil are always at war. All of us have a good and evil wolf within. And that's like why I came up with this whole idea of this story, is just to give like the example of like what, that not necessarily going to become a giant wolf and start eating people if you let evil, like bad things into your life. And they're not necessarily even evil. It could be just small things, and they become bad things if you keep going down that path. So that's kind of just what this is explaining. Anyways, I am obligated by God to tell you this tale to show you what you might become if you continue to feed the evil wolf within. Now, this is talking about the character Alion. Alion, the warrior king, let his greed and lust for war grow too strong, giving Azeroth, the evil wolf, a foothold. And then it goes on to say, the great wolf of the north torments these lands, conquering the world. Azeroth, that's the evil wolf's name again. The oppressor, that's just kind of a clever name I came up for him since he is like pretty evil. So oppressor seemed like it would fit, and it kind of just flows. Azeroth, the oppressor. And being fed so much by Alion's lust and greed, imprisoned the white wolf Adolf and hid him away in the darkest corners of Alion's mind. When you give power to the evil, that gives it power to basically destroy the good or make it very hard to find, is basically what it's saying. And with the good not challenging the evil as much, Azeroth reached full power, and then Alion takes on his evil twisted form. That's like what the dichotomies are. When the spirit gains so much strength over the other, then the other is basically almost completely gone. And then the other one, it basically magnifies the inside to match the outside. So Alion became very evil and twisted inside. So on the outside, he became this evil, twisted, werewolf-like creature. So, and then after that, it says, all shall despair, for his hunger is never satisfied, and his bloodthirst is never quenched. Run in terror, flee for your lives. The great wolf of the north is on the hunt. And that part's just like setting a mood for the rest of the story, I guess. So yeah, that is all for like the quick intro that I have to the album. The next song is The Transformation, which that's basically what's happening after Alion gives him so much power. He takes on his form and transforms. So that's The Transformation, and I will talk about that song in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions or anything about these stories, and I'll also link my website and go to the blog section of my website. I have a little bit of the lore of like this world and how it's all like basically molding together as I continue to write it and stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any comments, leave them down below. And you can get my album on my store at firefromheavenshop.com. Check it out. It's pretty sick. We have CDs available or digital download. So yeah, stay metal.